that was a proper old man. What's going on? I'm so old. Oh no, don't put that on there again. That was a nasty noise last time I did a video, and it was doing all that nonsense. I'm hoping that microphone is work. Have I turned it on? It's all about being prepared for these things. Yes, I have turned it on. So that's good. Anyway, yeah, I don't know if anyone will see this or not, but I'm just sitting down, chilling out. I've just put some of this no nonsense Danish oil on my new crosscut sled that I've kind of thrown together. I can talk you through that, but otherwise it's been a fairly straightforward day. I've got the new bandsaw, which is an ELU EBS 3401, which is brilliant, and I'm now selling the Titan that I had, because as great as the Titan is, particularly for the money, it's something where I've got some plans to resource some wood that I've got drying in my cabinet at the minute, and that's I'm not going to be able to do that. I don't know if top chat. No, I want live chat. Live chat. Move. So yeah, if someone could just let me know you can hear me okay, I would very much appreciate it, just because I obviously have no idea if everything's working. Hi Dean, love the bandsaw. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, it's a beast. Video showing, well, I've recorded all the parts of a video showing it all, and I will edit that probably tomorrow, loud and clear. Brilliant, thanks Nigel. As long as it's not too loud, that's the main thing as well. But no, it's a beast, and the main there's two main reasons I went for it. One is because it will cut 155 mil in height, whereas the Titan only does 80 or 85 mil. So I've almost doubled that, and also I can use at least a 1/2 inch blade on there. So yes, I can use a 1/4 inch and 3/8 and all that sort of stuff, but I can also use a 1/2 inch. So there's a 1/2 inch kind of blunt blade in there at the moment, but I've spent today giving it a full-on kind of, not a refurb, but I've cleaned up the tires. I've given it all the bearings a nice kind of greasing with some PTFE, dry PTFE from WD-40, which is brilliant. I love it. Definitely put it on all your machines. It's not sponsored, but it's great stuff. Yeah, so I do need to get a new blade, and I'm going to get in contact with the chap, Ian, is it, at Tough Saws. I'm going to speak to him and see what he recommends, because I definitely want to get a 1/2 inch ripping blade, and I do want to get a kind of maybe a 3/8 or something for doing curves and all that sort of nonsense. So we'll see about that, and that'll be more of a general purpose blade, although I might get a 1/2 inch general purpose as well. So many options. But yeah, so there's that. So that's nice. Like I say, I've made a video just sort of covering the basics of the bandsaw and why I've changed it and what it's all about. And the reason I've done that, even though it's a super old bandsaw, is because, as you'll see on the video, there's a lot of people that are selling them on Marketplace and eBay and places like that. I use Tough Saws. They're very good. Brilliant. Yeah, all I've heard is good things about the company and about Ian. Is it Ian? So yeah, I definitely want to try those guys out, because apparently very knowledgeable and very good service. So I want to give them a go for sure. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, with these bandsaws, these ELU ones, ELU, is it ELU? They're Italian, I think. But you can, there is exactly the same saw branded as DeWalt. So I imagine the ELU ones possibly were kind of covering a certain aspect of Europe, and then the DeWalt version might have covered another side. I don't really know, to be honest. But yeah, so there's that. But the thing is, I picked mine up for £115, 115, which is like 20 quid cheaper than the Titan. Which is bonkers. For the amount, and for to be able to cut 150 mil height, is with half-inch blade and what have you, with a 750 watt motor as well, is very expensive. If I wanted to get one of those kind of, if I wanted to get an Axminster or Charnwood or Laguna or you know any of the sort of higher profile brands, it would be horribly expensive. But that seems to be able to give me a significant amount of options with very little outlay, which is brilliant. My next tool is going to be a bandsaw. Would you recommend the Titan to start me off? Yes, I would, Nigel. Mine's up for sale. But no, I would, because the bandsaw is one of those things where you don't know if you're going to use it. About as much as I use my table saw, which, you know, it is great. It's just so easy for little cuts, little quick cuts, or to sort of rip strips, or to do curves or whatever else, that it just makes my life so much easier to use it. So yeah, I mean, I love it. I've loved using my Titan. I've fixed a bunch of things on it. It's not perfect, but it's got me through for the last kind of 8 or 9 months, or however long I've had it. I'm in Norwich, Norfolk, and I'm selling it for 65 quid. It's on Marketplace. And they're 135, I think they're about 135 on Screwfix's website, or 145, can't remember. But yeah, so that's going. And, you know, the Titan does a grand job, but just for my purposes, because I need to cut some thicker pieces of wood and resaw some stuff, I needed something that was a sort of a bit more up to the job. And I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't have bought the Titan in the first place, because by using, I'm a big proponent of buy cheap to start with, and just be fully aware that if you like that tool, you'll probably end up buying a more expensive one later down the line. Because when I've been using the Titan, I've been able to do a whole bunch of stuff, and learn a whole bunch of stuff with it, you know, and by doing that, that's what's highlighted the fact that yes, I do enjoy having a bandsaw, but I'm at the point where I need it to do just a couple more things. In actuality, the fence, yeah, it's a bit of a trek, Nigel. The fence on the Elu is terrible. It's absolute rubbish. And you know, and the fence on the Titan is better, which is pretty nuts. But you know, I can make a fence for it, so that's no biggie. So I'm okay with that. And I've got some ideas about things that I can use, including kind of bearings and you know, the stuff, you know, the rods, and then the what are they called? The bearings that are in like a tube. That get used on 3D printers. I've had some of those for yonks, and I've been thinking for a while about making some kind of fence. So if I can figure out how to lock it, then that means I could have it running on front and back on bearings, so it doesn't, there's no wiggle room, so it's permanently 90 degrees to the blade, you know, which would be good. Parallel to the blade, rather. So yeah, I'll see about that. But for the minute, I've got a bunch of other projects to do, so I'm not going to worry about that quite so much. I haven't made a video about this because it's a super basic crosscut sled. There's a gazillion videos on YouTube about a crosscut sled. I just put these pieces here so I remember when I touch them that you know, I'm close-ish to the blade, so don't cut my fingers off. And I've got, this is Douglas fir on the front, which I cut off a door yonks ago. That's just some mangy old plywood at the back. I've got 2 bits of ply at the back. There is some thin plywood. I think this is about 10 or 12 mil ply. I can't really remember. And then on the top, just to give it a little bit extra rigidity, I have got this, which is just a laminate, bit of chipboard laminate, probably about, I don't know, 4 or 5 mil thickness. And that was in the middle of some cupboard doors. and I've used that on the top, A, because it looks nice, B, because it's definitely straight and flat, because I used underneath that's kind of shuttering ply, so that's not great. So that makes it nice and smooth, nice and flat, and it just looks a bit prettier as well, and it gives it all a little bit more rigidity. So yeah, that's why I've gone for that one, and it's screwed down and all the screws are below the surface and all that sort of nonsense. So yeah, one thing that I have tried, I did cut a bit of Marante yonks ago, like a really thin bit of laminate, and I wondered if I could use that to kind of edge the plywood at the back or even at the front there, and that might be a thing that happens, but I know you generally have to steam wood to bend it, but I don't know if you can just soak it. Can you just soak it in water? Does the water have to be hot? Does anyone know? Because I've had it soaking in a couple of wet rags now for an hour or so, and there's no real sign of it doing anything at the minute. But we'll see. We'll see what happens on that one. Also, I use this no nonsense Danish oil. Can't remember if I said that already or not, but I use that because it's cheap at Screwfix. I think this is the cheapest Danish oil that I've found, and seems to be perfectly fine. So I've got no problems with that. What else have I got to tell you? I haven't done a great deal else. Oh, I tell you what I have got. In that, you can't really see it, but in that box just there, that is a dovetail jig that I saw on Amazon. I really would like one of the Cat's Moses ones, but they're horribly expensive, and to get them into the UK and import charges and what have you, no, I can't be doing it. But I saw that, and it was 35 quid on Amazon, and I thought, do you know what, that's worth a crack, because I've not seen one before. I've got no concept of how they work. So, and it's not just one of the, you know, angled bits of like bow tie looking metal. It's a whole different thing. So I've left that all boxed up, and that's going to be ready for my 7 days of dovetails, which I'm hoping to start on Monday. And the plan there is to, every day I'm going to cut one set of dovetails. So day one, I'm going to do it all by hand. I'm going to watch a video about it, either the Paul Sellers one or the Matt Eastley one, like the day before or even the morning before. And then I'm going to come out, see what I can remember, and take it from there. Odds are, day one is going to be just a massive cock up, but we'll see. And the reason I'm doing this is because I thought it'd be interesting to see a progression over the course of 7 days. It might not be 7 consecutive days, because that depends on my health, but over the course of 7 days. And so day one, I'll do it all by hand. Day 2 or 3, I will use the cross-cut jig. No, not the cross-cut jig, the dovetail jig, the new one, but I'm leaving it sealed so you can see that I've had zero experience with it. And I doubt there's instructions, so it'll probably be just a kind of a make it up as you go along situation. And then I'm hoping that if my sawing is a little bit off, or things are a little bit pear-shaped on the sort of the start of the 7 days, then if I use the jig for a couple of days, then what that might do is that might kind of create some muscle memory for cutting and what have you, as well as just more of a general awareness for the dovetail sitch, you know. So I'm hoping that's going to be the thing. We'll see what happens. Now, I would like your input on this one, so if you're watching this after the fact, please do comment down below. But I wanted to do it ideally all in one video, but to cover it all and things that I've learned and, you know, mistakes that I've made and what have you, I think it's going to be troublesome to do that in like under 20-30 minutes, you know. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a video of day 1, and then I'll do a video of I'll add a video of day 2, or bits of stuff of day 2 if I make any glorious cock-ups or anything like that. But then I will record and have a second video out using the jig, and then just as mainly as a way of kind of showing how to use the jig. or figuring it out. And then at the end of the 7 days, I will hopefully show all of the dovetails and what I've learned and be able to sort of give that a conclusion. I know a lot of people don't really like multiple videos on the same subject, but it's the only way that I can think of to keep the timing sort of relatively reasonable, you know. So if you've got any other ideas, please do let me know. But yeah, I thought it's either going to be one big cock off video with a how to use the dovetail as a secondary, or I do 3 videos and make them all shorter, you know. So yeah, please do let me know what you think about that. Have I got anything else to tell you? No, I've still not got any adapters for my vac hoses, so I'm being very naughty and not always vacuuming as I should. And forgetting to wear PPE, but I've got to get better at that. That is on the things to do with my life list. Like I said, I will get a new blade for the new, to me, bandsaw. I don't know how old it is. I think they were about kind of early 2000s. Hi, Bride Valley, how you doing? I think they were around about the early 2000s. Late 90s? Early 2000s? I don't know. If you know, please do let me know. But no, for the money, for 115 quid second hand, and there's loads between 100 and 150 on Marketplace and eBay and all that sort of stuff. Did you see Peter Millard cutting dovetails with his track saw? I think I did. I generally watch all of Peter's videos, but he's me trying to cut dovetails with a track saw would be horribly dangerous. So certainly not something I'm willing to risk. I managed to damage myself quite easily. So yeah, so there's that. I'll be using my my Japanese Ryobi saw. This isn't a branded one, as far as I know. It's not a Suzanne or whatever they're pronounced, but I would like one of their dovetail saws. So that's something that I will treat myself to when I have the cash to do so. But no, this is what I'm probably going to use. I have got in my little cupboard here. Oh, hold you on. I have got this little beauty, which this is something that I've had for years. I think I picked it up in like a box of tools and, you know, a box of rubbish. And I took all of the rust off it, but I think it needs possibly a bit of sharpening and some work done on the teeth. I'm not overly sure, but I mean, and that's very wobbly, so I'm fairly confident that's not right. But yeah, so I tell you what would be cool, to swap this, put the handle onto the other side, to make this into a pull saw. I love a pull saw. I much prefer pull saws to push saws. Much prefer them. So yeah, there's that. Oh, excuse me. So yeah, I think that's about it. I don't think I've got anything else to tell you. We've got to build the new fence system for the bandsaw. I've done the crosscut jig. I do want to make like a 45-degree framing crosscut jig thingamajig at some point in time. That's on the list of things to do. But no, otherwise, I think that's about it. So like I say, I just wanted to do a catch-up. I will edit the video about the bandsaw probably tomorrow. So that might be up tomorrow night or Monday. And then on Monday, I'll start recording the 7 days of dovetails situation, as well as anything else that pops up, you know. I think that's it. Yes. Okay, well, I hope that was interesting, or a little way to spend 20 minutes. I don't know. Hopefully it was. Thank you very much for all of the new subscribers. If you're one of those guys and girls, that's very much appreciated. It's wonderful to see how the channel is starting to grow. I really appreciate all of the subs and the likes and all that sort of stuff. That really is very kind of you. And hopefully we can continue doing kind of interesting, achievable stuff on a budget, and everyone's a winner until I get mega famous and get sponsored by someone horribly wonderful. To be honest, I'm at a stage now where there isn't really any tools that I'd like. I mean, I think I would like to, even though I made all those videos about my thickness planer, or jointer thicknesser. I think what I would like to do is possibly sell that and just get a thicknesser, like one of the DeWalt thicknessers that's got a bit of a wider ability, because I just don't use it. When I want to straighten up boards, I'll generally use the table saw to do that. So yeah, I think that's the only thing that I can imagine I am really interested in changing at the moment. I've got pretty much, you know, with my little Draper nail gun there, which is stunningly good for the money, my Erbauer drill and an impact driver. I would like another drill, purely because I think having a drill with a countersink bit in it all the time is just a good idea. It just makes life easier rather than drilling all your holes or drilling one hole countersink in, drilling another hole countersink, and all that chopping and changing nonsense. So yeah, a separate drill with a just a countersink on it, that would be jolly useful. But no, otherwise, I honestly, oh, and the adapters for my dust system. But otherwise, I'm in the very fortunate position that I've managed to create what I think is a very workable workshop. Is that even proper English? A workable workshop on a budget, and it's doing wonderfully well. And I've learned so much on the journey. But like I said, I will be looking at making some stuff that's nicer to look at. But I just want to get the dovetails thing out of the way, because I think it's important. It's an important skill to learn. And what I don't want to do is, and no shade on anyone that does this, but I don't want to be a person that does dovetails on a router table or table saw. I want to be able to, I just want that skill to be able to make dovetails by hand. And I think 7 days of doing that will be a useful experience, hopefully. Fingers crossed. So there we go. Right. Thank you very much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a wonderful Saturday, or whenever you're seeing this one. Let me know if it's a good idea to keep these little short lives up when I do them, because I never know whether I should keep them up or get shot of them, because it's just a relaxed catch-up. Oh, hello, flirty. It's just a relaxed catch-up, you know. My traps are so massive, you see, it doesn't sit properly. Yeah, so let me know if I should keep these up or if I should get rid of them. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much for hanging out with me, and I will see you very soon, over the next day or two. Alrighty. Thanks for all the likes. How do you stop this? There it is. I found it. Bye.